quality coming from the Poynton Lacrosse Club in England, up against Hungary. As they're moving the ball around, just 12 on the ball for Spain.
We're looking for our rosters here. It's such a hectic environment with 46 teams competing here at the World Championships this summer. We haven't got everything in place every single time. And Hungary, of course, being one of the new teams to the FIL here at the World Championships, we're still getting to know them a little bit. But I'm happy to say I'm friends with defensive coordinator John Cohen from Denver. He's had a great career with the Denver Outlaws.
Again, very patient offense so far by Spain.
They've had a great tournament so far. I think they're performing way better than they imagined as they get the first shot of the game off here. They've had some big wins, a couple of losses. They did well in pool play. They came up against Austria the other night, a little bit of a come from behind loss. So I think they're still looking to avenge that loss against Austria here against Hungary. And this is, I believe, the 11th place game. Are we already in placement stages?
We'll need to confirm that. I had a word with the Spanish coach. He believes it may be the 23rd through 28th, but each game, every single position. It's one of the great things about the competitive structure here, put together in this tournament. Every game that each team plays will help decide their final position. There's no count back or goal difference. All the decisions will be decided on the field. So obviously you have the final for the gold medal and the bronze medal playoff. All the way down to the 45th, 46th place will be decided on the field, on the playoff. As we have a attempted ride, good riding by number 3 for Spain.
Yeah, Spain's been a little bit out of sorts. Their jerseys didn't arrive for their first 2 games, so they were playing in pennies. Their luggage and jerseys were lost by the airlines for the first few games, so they were playing in pennies with tape and Sharpies for their numbers. Now you can see they're in there, obviously in their very visitor blue jerseys. And
great to see the contrast as well, the yellow on the black. And some interesting colour choices.
Yeah,
bright yellow numbers on a white shirt is particularly challenging.
Yeah, they look great. I like the helmets with the yellow stripe in the middle.
I think it'll be a big boost as well now they've got that actual kit. These helmets are styling with the Spanish colours.
Look good, play good, right?
That's the way it works. Not so much a gearhead myself, but there really is these helmets, a variety of designs on them, the variety of individuality of the sticks. Most of the helmets are produced by Cascade, #1 provider in helmets and lacrosse, and is actually the official helmet provider here for these games. You can catch up with all the latest designs on following Cascade Lacrosse on Instagram. Cascade Lacrosse, a passion to protect, which if you're in the helmet business is probably a pretty good thing.
Absolutely. Hungary's first possession here, they're being equally as patient as the Spanish. I don't think either of these two teams wants to get into a track meet running up and down the field all day today. Beautiful day in Netanya, but every team struggling with the heat throughout the tournament. So both teams will be very patient. Hungary playing with only a 16-man roster here. They've dealt with some injuries. So I think you'll see a lot of teams play smart possessions, be very important for everyone.
Nice little cross crease feed there by number 15 for Hungary.
Dylan Portnoy with the goal. So 15-16 hooks up. Hungary's on the board first. Spain in a man-to-man defense. I think you're going to see, if you notice that first possession, Hungary in the white in a zone defense down here. They're trying to manage some injuries and personnel, so the zone defense allows them to run a little bit less around the field, although any experienced coach will tell you that sometimes you move even more in a zone. Inside your zone, you move back and forth, side to side.
Just on that one, it's Jason Rosenberski is the assist for Hungary because he came around the corner, a little cross-crease feed. As you say, Dylan Portnoy, the 17-year-old attackman, comes up with his goal. Nice save this time. Good face dodge from up top, managed to get inside.
Fernando Martinez Sierra has taken already a couple of shots from the top of that Hungarian zone. The save will bring it down the other way, so Hungary will have another chance on offense here.
So Karsten Nairadi is the goalkeeper for Hungary. 16 on the ball. It's the score of the first goal. Dylan Portnoy.
Expect to see a lot out of him today. They're relying heavily on him, and I talked to the Hungary coaches before the game. They've got a few guys that they're relying on. They're really ready to go here.
We had a low to high riser there, just a little off cage, but Hungary maintained possession. 21 takes him for a ride around the goal. It's Alex Seabor for Hungary. Almost gives it the full 360 rotation around the goal. Dishes it off before lap 2.
Otto, Marcel, you guys ready again? Otto, Marcel, you guys ready?
Sorry, this is number 2, Karsten Nairadi, the goalkeeper. That's 91. That's John Yen.
Hey, Ryan, good one on you.
Yeah, there's a few differences from the official program to the official roster. Even to the point we had a player left his game shirt back in his room. Was potentially going to be playing under a different number. Fortunately, they had someone to go back and got here in time. So crisis avoided. Name or number will not be given out to protect the guilty.
Yeah, we're on the far field here, field 6 at the Wingate Institute. Looks like Spain's also playing a little bit of a zone look, so it'll be a zone versus zone matchup for these two defenses today. We haven't seen that before in the tournament from the games that I've seen.
The beautiful dish inside. This time the favours returned. The first one was 15 assists. This time it's 15 with the goal. And number 76.
16, I think.
Is that?
Yeah, I think it was 15 and 16 working together again, wasn't it?
No, there's 16 and 76 are running off. I think it was 76 with the assist this time. Alex Bookout, and 15 Jason Rosenberski with the goal. So 15 already. Jason Rosenberski. As we're approaching 11-minute mark, it's Hungary 2, Spain 0, and number 15 already has a goal and assist. Pretty much similar moves, driving the post and looking for that cross-crease feed.
Yeah, number 25 for Spain, Fernando Martinez Sierra. I talked to Coach Bartlett before the game. They're very happy with the face-off unit. You saw Martinez Sierra taking a lot of those shots from up top. So he's doing a lot for this Spanish team. Spain has done a lot. Just been tremendous increases and improvements in this program under Coach Mike Bartlett since the 2014 World Championships. I've been really impressed, even though they lost against Austria the other night. Come from behind win, a great game from Austria. I was watching Spain play, and they were just playing fantastic.
As they get one back. This time, I believe it's an outside shot on the left.
It was an inside, so since we're playing both zones here, we've seen almost the exact same goal from both teams, the last 2 goals that were scored. Feeds to the inside, they found the soft spot in the zones, shift side to side, so you can move the ball inside before the zone collapses and get a shot off.
Hey, let's go, White, let's go!
Okay, at this point, we'll take a media timeout. we'll push you back to the office. Hope you enjoy the adverts, and we'll join you back after the break. It's Dave Hallows on play-by-play, joined by Ryan Wallace on colour commentary. See you after the break. Combination on CBO and bench manager, both from Australia. It's Stephen and David McRae. Quick, very quick hands there on the clamp. Gets it out to the long stick midi. This is Hunter. Dishes it up. Does his job, not wearing arm pads. So number 30 is Daryl Hunter, the 24-year-old defender. Gets it up to 45. As Jonas Nienau.
Jonas Nienau plays in Spain during his study abroad. He's actually from Germany. He was one of the first players that I met when I came to play in Germany a couple years ago. And now that I ended up coaching there, big fan of his.
Yeah, talking to the coach earlier, they do actually have a non-passport holder playing for Spain, and he's in Venezuela. So rather than going for the North American connection, with Canada and USA being a particularly popular flavour of dual national, he's back to number 45. Looks to step in round the zone. Nice save. It was 45-7. That's your friend Jonas Nienau to Daniel de la Casa. You may well be familiar with Daniel de la Casa. He's been with Spain since their initial introduction into international lacrosse in 2003. There's actually a couple of de la Casa brothers. Daniel is the one that's still playing. I think you're right, this will be a chess match today. Both are playing the zones, so you'd hope they'd be used to playing against them. But at the moment, it's almost the defense are dominating the setup. We're at the 8-minute mark, the first quarter, and the score is Hungary 2, Spain 1.
Yeah, Spain doing a nice job of overloading zones, particularly on the right side, the goalie's right side. So if you're looking if you're watching at home, it's actually the left side of the goal. Most of their players are right-handed, so they're overloading the right side against this Hungarian zone, trying to get them to rotate.
Yeah, you'd probably expect to have left-handed players on that side of the zone, but it was actually Carlos Rodriguez there who stepped inside and took a right-handed shot. That just went wide.
So you can see the Spanish team rotating and moving through the middle, trying to get in the seams between defenders. Great ground ball there.
Nice support by his teammates setting the pick as well. Gives him an obstacle in the defender's path. Perfectly legally set. Absolutely stationary, and unlike basketball or box lacrosse, not just your feet need to be set, but the top half of your body needs to be set as well. Good recovery again by Carlos Rodriguez. Gets over this time to Connor Chinquegrana, number 19.
Spain doing a great job being patient. Their passes aren't always on target. As we see one go out there, they're still testing and prodding the zone defense. Like you said, they probably spent a lot of time practicing against the zone. So the Hungary's game plan might not be so good.
So Ryan, I believe you do quite a bit of coaching. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I as often as I can. I ref as often as I can too, but coaching is, I guess, technically my field of employment.
You step in to face either of these zone defenses. What's your guide for the audience at home for how do you attack a zone?
So it looks like both of these teams are playing kind of a standard 3-3 zone, which means 3 across the top. You can see Spain right now, and then 3 across the back in front of the goal. This now looks like more of a man look, so it looks like Spain has shifted. But there are a lot of kind of standard plays you can use against the zone, 2-2-2 or 1-4-1. Put 2 guys inside, but the main foundational principle is you got to get 2 offensive players, 2 attackers in 1 defender zone. So you're forcing the defender to pick between 2 attackers, and it's especially effective if one of those 2 players has the ball.
Bit of a Lyle Thompson reverse shot there by 16.
Boy, the sun is hot here in Netanya. It's a beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky.
And another shot, this time clean save. And stick side high, he went high to high. Goalkeeper Alejandro Ferri saw that one all the way. Starting goalie, they have 2 goalies for Spain.
Spain's so athletic. They're just running all over the field. I've watched them all week. They've got a deep bench compared to Hungary, so these guys can really try and speed this up, force the Hungarians to spend a lot of energy keeping up with them.
Again, the shot was wide. There was an interesting one there where as the midfielder was coming up, the slide was coming, he actually turned his back to the defender. As the man was making contact, the referees actually make the right call. That's not a foul if, as you're approaching the man, he turns his back. Beautifully timed, little wheel move there. So number 0 with the cut from behind goal increases his angle and actually beats him near post. That's Diego Larath. He actually played in England. He came through the Tasis school, which hopefully players in England and Germany will be familiar with, as their coach Matt Bagley, who's played for England, coached for England, and is now the head coach of Germany, should be familiar. And Diego Larath, number 0, is also playing in the books competition in England for Exeter University. Illegal procedure. 19 doesn't agree, but the ball goes to 25. Fernando Martinez, very excited, really pushed the tempo, a little bit over enthusiastic, and that ball just got away from him.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Mike Bartlett this morning, and the tempo, the up speed pace is actually part of Spain's game plan. They know they've got a deeper bench. They know they're not as big as Hungary, but they've got some speed advantages there. So they're going to look to them to keep the game at a higher pace.
And a beautiful little shot on the turn. It went sidearm. Number 2 for Hungary.
So we're going punch for punch here in the early minutes of this quarter.
The Karsten Nairadi. Again, it's a great shot on the turn. But also Carsten's dad, actually Pablo Nairadi, has been supporting the team. Been a great help as a booster for Spanish lacrosse. I'd like to give a thank out to him at Trifecta Winery. So that's Pablo Nairadi, the father of the number 2 who just scored, Karsten Nairadi. And again, Spain come away with the ball.
We've seen almost as many face-off violations as we've seen actual face-offs. So they must be excited up there at the dot.
Again, neither team may well be fighting for the gold medal, but every single game you're representing your country, and the nerves can take effect, or just being a little bit too pumped up. It is emotional control.
So Spain's Hungary defense is rotating now. You can see the Spanish defenders trying to pull the Spanish attackers trying to pull the defenders out of their zone until somebody gets free.
It's a shame he couldn't control that pass. Number 3 had done a beautiful little U-cut on the crease, where you go from back right to a high crease and then cut down to the corner. But all is well. As again, just as you called it, Ryan, they're attacking the seams. This time it was from the right wing, from the goalie's perspective. Steps in with a sidearm shot with the assist from number 19. Connor Cinquegrana with the goal by Daniel de la Casa, the veteran of this team. As in the he was there from the start. He's also historically the top point scorer. He's the record holder for Spain. As head coach Mike Bartlett was informing me before the game.
So we're tied at 3 here in the first. Ball comes out. Nice pinch and pop.
Late hit could have been called, but he bounces up. That's 25 now on the break for Hungary. That's Tristan Otto, also known to his mates as Trotto. But another big save, and more importantly, controls the ball for Alejandro Ferri.
You can see good clock awareness from the Hungarian long pole LSM. He's a talented high school player. He's very young. He just finished high school. He's headed to Harvard. A few seconds left. Good time to take that shot.
Also, the goalkeeper is Tristan Otto. Sorry, wrong team here. So the goalkeeper for Spain, Alejandro Ferri, is actually an 18-year-old. So it's not just for this tournament, but every opportunity you get to get on the field to wear your national shirt. As an 18-year-old playing for the country, it's to be hoped that not necessarily just the next World Championships, but possibly even the next 2, 3, or even 4. There's been Canadians, Australians, and Mike Roberts on the England team have actually managed to represent at 5 World Championships. But you really do have to start early, and it's a life choice almost. So when was your first lacrosse connection?
I was back in Kansas. Kansas City, 1999.
You're a long way from Kansas.
Yeah, we're not in Kansas
1989.
1989 for you.
No, is that the year you first
Oh,
football?
1999.
1999. So 19 years, coaching, refereeing. If you're not familiar with Ryan, I recommend you get in touch via social media. You seem to have the finger on the pulse for world lacrosse rather than just German lacrosse or officiating.
There's a world-class travel destination. If you've never been, definitely something you want to see at least once in your life, if not
I can't remember the name of the cathedral with the architect.
The Sagrada Familia.
Sagrada Familia, there we go.
I should know the name of the architect. I'll think about it here in a little bit. Gaudi, right? Isn't it?
That is the right name. I can't remember the pronunciation. I've never been to Barcelona. I had a friend who spent a year there teaching English as a foreign language.
Oh, Dave, we got to go.
It, by all accounts, on a lot of people's bucket lists. As we're on the face-off, and as we're talking about Barcelona and Spain, number 23 for Spain kicks it into high gear. This is Diego Armando Diaz.
The Spanish players so fast. They just, you can guess that they all have a football background or a soccer background if you're watching back home in North America.
Or a football background if you're from anyone else in the world. We had Croatia play on the first game here. Co-commentator was mentioning off-air that it must be fantastic to their team get to the final. Unfortunately, they lost the final, so it's not really something you want to discuss. Well, maybe that's one time in their life. It's definitely the first time they reached the final. And I had the privilege of calling the play-by-play on the French team, as again, he seems to be one of the main players. That's his sweet spot. And that top right position, steps into one, perfect technique, bouncer. Fortunately this time it bounced over the bar. That's from Jonas Ninau. And which club was he with in Germany?
He's currently playing for Munster, which is in our division, coached by a good friend of mine, Adam Pikey Gray. I played with him in the UK 10 or so years ago. The Spanish still working against this Hungarian zone. You can see a lot of feeds to the inside into the soft spot. And then I was noticing that the Spanish team, very disciplined with their shooting. They've shot almost exclusively overhand bounce shots, which is something every coach wants their players to do, especially beginning players. Haven't seen a lot of sidearm or underarm shooting. The Spanish players look like they're following the game plan, staying very disciplined, listening to Coach Mike Bartlett. And the ground here in Netanya is very hard, so it's natural grass. It's been used very extensively over these last 6 days. So the ball's kicking up, bouncing real high, but they're still shooting those high overhand bounce shots.
And they're on cue, almost. Well, good prediction. Spotted the highlight. It's number 45 again. Jonas Ninau. stepping in, perfect side-on technique, full extension.
Elbows high.
What was good is having had a couple of shots just off target, or one was an excellent save by the Hungarian goalkeeper. And that finally someone else has a go from that position, and this time it's Connor Chinquegrana, number 19. He's a 20-year-old midfielder for Spain. They swap position, a little bit of a shallow cut or a twist as it's known. Pick that one high to high rather than the bouncer.
Yeah, I was noticing that too. They finally scored one, and it wasn't a bouncer. But they did a great job by the Spanish players waiting to get the Hungarian zone defense out of position. They were forced to rotate to cover the ball, so when you drag your defender out of his spot, out of his zone, another defender has to come over and fill. You move the ball over, another defender has to rotate, so you get the zone rotating, and that's when you come up with those scoring opportunities, as Spain just showed us, to take that 1-goal lead here in the second quarter.
Again, no one's really established dominance apart from the illegal procedures. It's been closely contested, and very nearly great hustle by number 11 for Spain. That's Javier Perez Coca, as 44 claims the ball. The referee, you have to step inside away from the bench, and again there's no over and back in international rules. That was number 11 for Hungary.
So we haven't seen Hungary on offense. Little confusion at the box. Is this the father and son referee combo? They're looking to see. So they'll wipe that illegal procedure away. White had did not have too many players in the offensive end. They're just releasing a penalty.
As that penalty is released, number 22 for Hungary. And now, as you said, we've not seen them on offense for some time. And Spain, as they were pressing the ball actually behind goal while it was up top, or pressing the man behind goal, they're very much in the man-on-man now, having taken a break from that zone defense.
Hungary's using the zone as a way to preserve the energy of their defenders.
Very quick, sick finish there.
Hungary scored all their goals in almost the exact same way. Looking to the man on the backside. It's almost like they have a lot of box experience, but I'm not familiar enough with these players to know that.
The European Box Championships is actually held for the first time. There's been a number of international competitions held in Radicin in the Czech Republic. They actually have a bespoke box arena in the middle of the town, but Turku in Finland hosted the first FIL affiliated European Box Lacrosse Championships, and Hungary didn't have a team in that one. There were a few teams there that haven't got teams here, and likewise there are a lot of teams here that didn't have teams there. Some countries, which I think is a huge advantage, the same players play box for 3 months and field lacrosse for 3 months, so you almost gain twice the experience for every year that you play.
Absolutely.
And having that, the different coaching, the different aspects, the different athletic challenges, box is very much a very much tougher, more physical game and faster. And the stick handling in box is crucial with a 30-second shot clock, where field is very much, it's a larger squad, and I think that may well have been a deflected shot. Either way, number 12 will accept that in the scorebook. Unassisted goal, left-handed sidearm, as the ball ends up in the back of the net, past John Yen, and it's I believe it's Ignacio. Did you catch the number on that one?
I did not, Dave.
I believe it was number 12, the lefty, which is Ignacio Farkas. That pushes Spain in the lead by 1.
So they'll take the lead again here. We're trading punches back and forth all day. It's been a really exciting game.
You know, there was that initial 2-goal start. Since then, it really has been neck and neck, never more than 1 goal in it. Good speed again as the deuces are matched up. Number 2 for Hungary against number 2 for Spain. So it's Karsten Nayardi against Alberto Hoffman.
I think Alberto drove me to a game earlier this season when I was guest coaching down in the Rhine-Neckar area of Germany.
Yeah, rather than 6 degrees of separation, I fully expect you to have maybe 1 or 2 degrees of separation with every single person here. It's very much a case of...
Not every single. I wish I knew the Hungarians better. I was in Budapest back in January for the New Year's Cup, and I can't remember if I met any of these guys or not. But a great tournament in Budapest at the beginning of the year. It's actually inside of a dome, so you can play full field lacrosse in Budapest in January. And
that is an amazing resource to have.
Yeah, Budapest is a seriously beautiful city. I'm a huge Budapest fan. They have a bunch of hot springs right there in the middle of the city, in the city, so you can go and check that out after the game. So that's what we did. We did a lot of lax and then a lot of...
Do you work in tourism by any chance? So it feels like the have stick will travel.
Absolutely.
And
that's why I want so many friends, because I just want to go wherever I'm invited.
Again, 2 deuces are matched up. This time, clean save.
Yeah, great off-stick save.
By double deuce for Spain. Which is Alejandro Ferri.
And then another save down at this end. So both goalies are playing really, really well today with this zone defense. Hungary forcing the outside shots. They said they're going to be relying really heavily on their goalie, John Yen. And he's controlling the pace of the defense, controlling how far out they extend, how much pressure they put on. Like we talked about, Hungary's playing with 16 men, so they've got to really control how much exertion they give during these games. These international tournaments are long, 10-day tournaments, sometimes 10 games in 10 days. Takes a toll on any team.
It really is a marathon rather than a sprint. And obviously when you have, especially early on in the week, where one key win or loss, just a goal either side, can determine whether you're in the top 16 or the bottom, what would be 16. So it's 46 places. Originally it was scheduled for 48. As number 3 catches one on the crease, looks to turn, but a nice trail check by 28 for Hungary. So again for Spain, looking to get that ball inside or the outside shot with the man on the ball now. 45, Jonas Ninau. We had another goal. Nice low profile high five on that one.
Stop all clock.
We start the second half with just over 9 minutes left in this second quarter. Its score is, and it's a quick give and go. The long stick goal, high stepping, no arm pads. That's a great feeling. Score for your country. I don't think that's a case of his arm pads didn't make it through the airport. I think that's a choice.
That's Paul Lorca scoring that one. He was one of the main organizers of that Notre Dame-Barcelona tournament. Got the assist from Denny De La Casa. That was a great little play that they just put together there coming out of the timeout. Like you were saying, you never know what's going to happen. Some teams might come out with a zone. They might come out with man. Right there, we just came out with a big play. Came out of nowhere.
So who did you have that one down as?
That was...
I believe is Daryl Hunter, the 24-year-old.
Not number 10.
Again, after a goal like that, you'd want to get your name right when you come to look at it. But either way, I don't think he'll mind that much. The goose stepping through the crease, dancing almost.
Also worth noting, he went high to high on that one too. So the high to high shots, after we talked about all those bouncers, that's 2 high to high goals that Spain scored to take the lead 7-4 here in the second period.
Again, if you're not careful, that lead can get away from you, especially in this heat. Both defenses playing the zone. It doesn't really follow the high-scoring transition game. One thing that both of these zones are quite passive. So if you wanted to play a slower game and a more passive offense, they're not pushing out. So if a lead, say 4 or 5 goals, is established, it's really making the coaches make that decision. Do you stay in the zone and hope they make the mistakes and force it, or do you come out and start to extend the defense and put pressure? It really depends on, like you say, how prepared a team is, whether they can play a man-on-man and zone, or whether, like you say, if they've only played zone the whole time, it's difficult to suddenly ask them to push out. This is walking pace at the moment. He's literally just getting into his position.
Yeah,
go on.
I think you're seeing the Hungarian players, they want to settle down, they want to catch their breath, they want to give their defenders a break. You can't have possessions like that if you're trying to get the defense a rest. A little bit more ball movement maybe, and instead of just really standing still.
This is one of my bugbears in lacrosse domestically, obviously not at the top level, is where you have teams saying, right, settle, is they all stop still and start walking around and passing. And it's like, so you could not go to goal, but keep running a motion offense, keep moving the ball, Absolutely. Even if you're not. So suddenly, as soon as you stand still with the ball and don't pass, it's asking the referee to make a stall call and also the opponent to step out and put pressure on.
So we've had 2 turnovers in the middle of the field from both teams, 1 each. Spain will get the ball back here and they'll get a chance to settle down and catch their breath before they get into their offense. But I'd like to see Hungary, even after the turnovers, whether it's settled offense or after a turnover, they're going to need to have the ball today. They need to catch their breath with only 16 guys. A couple guys are playing with injury, and they're back on defense here after a couple of careless turnovers. Hungary's zone looks different than what the Spanish were in. This looks like a 6-man rotating zone. You can see that one player patrolling the middle as the other players around the outside rotate around the ball, covering the adjacent players.
See what the call is here.
Goal's good.
The goal is good. The dive is alive in international lacrosse. As long as that ball crosses the threshold, the whole of the ball crosses the whole of the line. That time we saw it looked like it was going to go for the initial, just a shovel shot, then decided to extend it.
Yeah, great little dodge and re-dodge with a crease dive. We're seeing a little bit of everything here from the Spanish. They're running and gunning. We're scoring long pole goals. We're scoring high to high heat, crease dives. It's a really exciting game so far. I didn't expect them to pop this 8-4 lead so early after we went goals back and forth in the first half for both teams, or in the first quarter for both teams.
Head coach Mike Bartlett will be absolutely delighted. He really has put a tremendous amount of effort and time and just work rate, not just actually with them on the field, but in preparation and planning, and has loved every second of it. He really has created a team spirit, and he's so impressed with the attitude, the athleticism, and just the sheer hunger to learn more about the game and to try be each individual on this team is trying to be the best player they can. And as you said earlier, some of the athleticism from football, as we see a little bit of a rusty gate, nearly an offside call, step on the line this time. Timeout was called rather than change of possession. 76 for Hungary. Went for the rusty gate. You actually lose sight of your player, but then throw the wrap check one-handed round your back. Good time out there. Looked like he was about to step out of bounds. So it's Hungary 4, Spain 8.
While we're in the timeout, I'll let you know that today's game is brought to you in part by Signature Lacrosse. Signature is a premier equipment manufacturer on a mission to gear up the future of lacrosse with quality products that grow and enhance the sport. Learn more at signaturelacrosse.com. And Epic Lacrosse, the leader in technologically advanced lacrosse equipment, is proud to be the official head, shaft, glove, and arm protection of the 2018 FIO World Championships here in Netanya. Epic is proud that so many teams from around the globe trusted all their gear needs here in Netanya. Epic Lacrosse, live, play, be.
I think you're pretty much the embodiment of that. Live, play, be.
I'd love to have some brand new Epic stuff. As it is, I play with whatever equipment I can find in the equipment shed. I think I'm actually playing with some old equipment of Jonas Nienaus. He used to play at Cologne in Germany. We've still got some of his stuff left over. He'll start with the ball here for Spain.
Perfect segue there. Excellent work. Even the referee is applauding that call.
It's referee Dave Malmquist, a very experienced MLL and NCAA official from Denver, Colorado.
Number 92. All the officials said there were 99 originally to cover the 170 games here, this tournament. And all the divisional games will be completed, and all positions apart from the final, the playoffs, will be completed on Friday night, or by Friday night, meaning that on the crease he finally gets a good connection there. It's 1-19. That was Carlos Rodriguez.
Yeah, he's already scored one of those goals today. He had one in the first quarter, the soft spot of the zone in the middle.
To Connor Chinquegrana.
Sticks up, knockdown pass for Hungary, and they'll have the ball in transition. Timeout from the Hungarian coaching staff. They'll take their second timeout with only 3 minutes remaining here in the second quarter.
Yeah, unfortunately you don't get to save them for later, or there's no carryover on the scheme for timeouts. Probably
a good thing, because some of these FIL international games can go so long. I don't think we want more timeouts than we already have.
It's always a tricky one with sometimes the run and gun game. It seems like 80 minutes has disappeared before you even know it. There's other times where if it's a really good game, you can have a low-scoring game, but if the goalies are on fire, or every ground ball is like a life and death situation, because both teams are fully intense and competitive and aggressive, you know, more lacrosse the better. It really does depend on what spirit the teams actually take into the game. The medicine game,
30 seconds.
Little Brother of War, the original Native American, have a number of names. Bagataway, We Bump Hips.
While we're looking at the clock here, 20 seconds left in the timeout, we'll tell you that today's game is brought to you in part by Quorum Watches. Since 1955, Quorum has adopted creativity and boldness as its guiding principles. Quorum, the official timekeeper of the 2018 FIL World Championships. Learn more about Quorum at www.quorum-watches.com.
Perfect timing again. Excellent job. Timing by Quorum Watches. As literally as the game restarts. It's a one-on-one matchup. Takes him for a run just to see what the defense is in.
Yes, Spain's back in their man-on-man defense, so they've come out with some higher pressure here, try and force some of these Hungarian attackers to work a little bit harder throughout this game.
Dylan Portnoy, number 16, number 15, Jason Rose Amberski, and this time it's number 9, had his man hung up. That was just pure speed. It's actually number 6 for Hungary. That's Ty Martin, the 23-year-old attackman. I'm not sure where he's played or learned his lacrosse, but it was a very slick move from X. He was almost waiting to the defender just to take a step either side. That time, the defender looked to the left and he quick burst, came topside left hand, Again, no fake, he just held his stick high and then went low by the feet, and the high bouncer pays off this time.
Yeah, great play that anybody at home can copy. Anytime you get the ball behind with no defender on you, it's a great time to stay back there and feed. If the defender makes a mistake, you come around and it's basically a 1-on-0 with the goalie.
Interesting there how the restart of the illegal procedure, the Spanish player was still standing next to the referee at the centre spot, or the dot as it's known now, it used to be the X, while the Hungarian player had actually sneaked a couple of yards. Means they actually started with the fast break, as the long pole absolutely launches one with that 6-foot stick. Again, that was a high bouncer, but that bounced probably about 4 feet over the goal. Fortunately, he didn't hit anyone. Unfortunately, he didn't hit the net. Nice little pick. X.
Hungary going for the big little there, trying to get a short stick matchup for that big
attack. I don't like the way that he landed there.
He's coming off. It doesn't look good.
Looks like the hamstring. Hopefully, it's just a bit of cramp. They have a short bench as it is for Hungary. As you mentioned earlier, there's a couple of players who's unavailable for this game.
Spain's got numbers if they can recognize.
And that was a pass rather than a shot. He actually drew the triple team, was just going to try flick it underneath his players to split the defenders. Unfortunately, that one went astray. So Hungary with the clear.
We're back with short time now. 10 seconds left here in the second quarter. Hungary's goalie will launch it down to the offensive end. See if they can come up with a quick goal before the end of the half. You didn't start it, right? You started it.
All right, who we got? Jill?
As the teams, welcome back to Trusted Choice Field as the teams prepare for the start of the second half. It's Dave Hallows on play-by-play. We're joined by Ryan Wallace on colour. Just a quick shout out to the refereeing crew here today. Again, the referees, 99 different officials were registered originally to cover these 170 games. Head ref today is David Momquist from the USA. On the field with him are Fabian Stoller from Switzerland, Mark Buckley from England, and then we have a family connection amongst the CBO and the bench manager. So hopefully the communication between those pairs should be good. It's David McRae is the CBO and the bench manager is Steve McRae, the uncle. They're both from the Wembley Club in Western Australia. As we see again, this is a arms race between the offense and the defense on the zone. Greatly timed cut there. Shot goes wide, turns into a bit of a shooting gallery. There was 26 with the cut right through the middle. Excellent feed, just couldn't get a grip of it, couldn't get the handle.
And the shot will give Spain the ball back. We're seeing some great open looks into the middle of both of these zones. We haven't seen the Spain zone for a while, but they're stretching the seams on the outside and they're finding the open space on the inside. Hungary battling with a short bench, a lot of injuries over the course of these last 6 days. 6 games in 6 days is a lot, so we're not seeing a ton of movement inside the zones. The backside Hungarian defenders aren't coming in to help the middle as the ball moves up top.
And again, any niggles on injuries. Again, as you see, perfect angle this time. Rather than going with the perfect over-the-shoulder technique, that was a little sidearm, tried to shoot round the defender. Unfortunately, pushed it too far. And he went wide right, but no problem. Because with the zone, you're very much on the inside as the goalkeeper actually moved the goal there for a second.
Great save from goalie John Yen there. The shot looked like it was going low, but it came up top, and John was able to adjust. We're seeing Spain run some of the same plays. They're getting the same looks, taking the same shots they did in the first half. So they are very well prepared against the zone here.
And I think rather than going for the cutting offense or trying to rotate all the time and create a motion where you're almost draw and dump on the outside, they are literally just moving the ball and just stepping into those seams, almost baiting the defense to step out. And then when they do, that's when they move the ball.
Yeah, they're trying to drag the Hungarian defenders out of their zone to make those seams even larger. So even if you carry the ball a little bit, as you see some of the Spanish attackers do before they pass, pull the Hungarian defender out of his zone, and that creates a larger space, as you see the skip pass there, to move the ball and get inside the defense.
Beat me to it. The skip pass, just whichever side it goes, again, always causes trouble for the zone, because suddenly that man is out of position, as will take us as an injury on the field. Hopefully, again, it's just a cramp. I believe that was a non-contact injury, which is also all the more worrying, as you see the players take a knee all over the field to show respect. You don't want everyone crowding around.
That's Hungarian George Rahanci. Do you have the pronunciation?
Yes, the George Rohanci.
Rohanci, I was close.
Very close. It's the spelling is Rohonczy. It's not a Z with a Z or a TS. It's sort of halfway between the two. It's a George Rohanci.
While we're in the injury timeout, real quickly, today's game is brought to you in part by JBC Money, the money transfer specialist for private and corporate clients. Start saving today with bank-beating exchange rates, no fees or commissions on your international money transfer needs. And with the support for 60 different currencies, you can learn more at jbcmoney.com.
It's always good to see them jog off. It's not the English expression jog on. It's actually he left the field by his own power rather than having to be stretchered or carried off. There was one incident this week where the ambulance was called, which was very concerning, but fortunately we were able to inform the family and friends back home watching that it wasn't needed to be taken to hospital and the player was fine and recovered. Suspected rib injury actually hit him in the middle of the chest, but fortunately I think it was just a bruise rather than any internal damage or, woe forbid, heaven forbid, any heart problem. But it was great that the ambulance was here straight away and was ready to get him to the hospital if required.
That's number 2, Karsten Nairati, with the ball behind the cage there. He's only 16, playing for this Hungarian national team. It's got to be very exciting for him.
Karsten again!
You can hear the Hungarian coaching staff tell him to go with that short stick matchup behind, although they opt for the early shot.
You see 3 Hungarian players very much sprinting toward the bench, which is good to see with only a short bench of 16. Again, that's more of a case of for the NCAA or high school rules. We saw a defender there trying to clear it through 2 attack players riding, trying to actually initiate contact. There is no clock pressure in international rules, so in that situation,
no reason to rush it.
No reason to rush it. Just can pull the ball out, and if need be, turn all the way back and go back to your goalkeeper and reset.
You can hear the Hungarian coaches now trying to get the message into their guys that they want to go slow, they want to keep the ball, they're trying to rest their defense, rest their midfield. There's not a ton of subs over here, especially after we've seen a couple guys go down with injuries, hamstrings or whatever it might be. So they need to be patient with the ball and look for their best options, not their first options.
And perfectly orchestrated. Number 6 again with the goal. He had a great one in the first half. The assist this time I believe is from 21. But it's the Hungarian player with his second of the day, Ty Martin, the 23-year-old attackman, with, I believe, the assist with 21. No. Literally 21 just walked past the commentary position.
He's telling me it was number 15, Jason Rosenberski, with the nice dodge from behind. He had the body position. He was under control. He drew the adjacent slide from up top. Not sure that was part of the Spanish zone slide package or the Spanish man-on-man slide package. You never want to slide adjacent down to the goal line because, as we saw from Hungary, that's exactly what happens. So we're 8-6 here in the third quarter. Hungary coming back from a 3-goal deficit at halftime. And there's still over 13 minutes left in this period.
Again, whether it be lacrosse IQ or fundamentals, there are some almost non-negotiables that just the risk return is just not worth it. And again, like you say, on a fast break, sliding upfield doesn't work out well. This time again, the zone. Quite often see teams go to their man-up squad against the 6-man zone, where they're so familiar to playing with each other and actually have probably a number of plays available. But this time,
you can see Hungarian defender number 22 out there. That's Mark Sund. I was talking to defensive coordinator John Cohen yesterday. He was telling me that the airlines also lost his bag, similar to the Spanish players, and he was playing his first few games in just regular tennis shoes. I think he was wearing some Vans, and he actually rolled both of his ankles because he didn't have his proper competition shoes. So he's out there. It's good to see him out there without injury. He's got his the rest of his equipment back now. The airlines found his bag in time for the last couple of games, but he did get some injuries because of his footwear. And so you can see that the Hungarians are dealing with all kinds of injuries during the later stages of the tournament here.
And that's heartbreaking. All the sacrifice, dedication, blood, sweat and tears, time and money that all these players, it's only the top level at professional, and somehow just a simple thing like not getting his shoes, and suddenly all that preparation, determination, after one day, wrong footwear, wrong preparation, and you're injured, and that affects the rest of your tournament. It's great to see him out on the field and playing, though. With this Hungary team, it's almost the case of the last man standing.
Offsides by Spain right here in front of the bench, right in front of the cameras. The Spanish attacker just leaned over and touched the ground on the other side with his hands. Gives the ball back to Hungary here. And let's see if they can be patient with the ball, as the coaches have been asking them to all game. I talked with a couple of the Hungarians during the halftime break, and they said that the first couple of possessions were great. We got into our offense, we ran the plays, we scored goals. We just need to do that a little bit more, especially as the game goes on. It's getting even. It's still even hot right now at 5 o'clock here in Israel. The sun is still beating down this late in the day. So it's going to be extra important for both teams to be smart with the ball here.
And again, this field positioning means that the sun is directly in the line of the goalkeeper to your right. So it's bad now, but in the fourth quarter it is even worse. And that was leading with the head almost there. I'm surprised that wasn't called.
He just put the shoulder down. There's a little bit of helmet-to-helmet contact. Nothing that could, I think, in that situation, create a safety issue. Now, if he makes that same hit with a full run at his defender, with a little bit of a...
Yeah, it was a face contact rather than leading with the crown of the helmet, yeah, so kinda, not spearing. But
yeah, kind of incidental.
He's definitely fired up.
Is that on water break? Is that on water break? Stop all clocks. Hydration break. Thank you, sir.
Boy, you know, I'm listening to the Hungarian coaching staff because we just so happen to be on their side of the bench. I know Coach Mike Bartlett and the Spanish coaches are very smart and very experienced. The Hungarian coaches, they know because they don't have so many guys, they're going to use this time to their advantage. They know they're getting the ball back. It's about that time in the quarter to ask for the hydration break, and they're going to, you know, they need all the breaks they can get with only 16 guys. So
again, a wily coaching move there. The media timeout was due, and the coach and the defensive player took a shot which worked out well. So we'll be taking a media break, and join us
Head coach Brad Jones there, calm and collected with this Hungary team throughout the tournament.
Yeah, Brad Jones, working in the Annapolis area, originally coached at Severn High School, I believe that's in the Annapolis area. And also, for the people back home in the UK, there's a travel team called the Stockport Metros, which again has a Facebook group. And Brad Jones actually has a couple of kids who have been through the equivalent, the Anne Arundel County Youth Lacrosse Association. So it's great that, again, the bonds between different countries, cultural exchange and lacrosse. Japanese with the best mission statement: lacrosse makes friends.
Today's game is also brought to you in part by Celebrite. Everywhere, every day, communities are turning to Celebrite's leading digital intelligence solutions to make a safer world more possible. Visit Celebrite.com to see how. And Gladiator Lacrosse makes equipment designed and perfected by lacrosse players, specifically for lacrosse players seeking to take their game to the next level. Visit gladiatorlacrosse.com. And one more here during the media timeout. Signature Lacrosse was built by players for players and is focused on revolutionizing the progression of the game. Follow Signature on Instagram at Signature Lacrosse to stay up to date on developments in products like Magic Mesh, the longest lasting, strongest performance mesh in the game.
It's magic. Be interesting to know how many players are using the Magic Mesh here. One thing's for certain, it's the Cascade helmets. They're doing a fantastic job. Every single team I've seen so far using the Cascade. A couple of variations in the models between the Cascade R and the Cascade S. I'm not quite sure what the difference is, but we have Hungary in the Cascade S. Which one's your particular favourite?
You know, I've always played in Cascade. I do like some of the other helmets that I've seen here, the Spanish helmets. I'm not sure if those are Cascade or not. I do enjoy a comfortable helmet. It makes such a huge difference. But like I said, Dave, I just pick up whatever anybody gives me. I've played in some really bad helmets. I've played with some really bad sticks. I think it's important, though. Any player should be able, you know, it might not be your best or your most favorite equipment. You might not have your best game, but you can go out and catch and throw and be competent with just anything you pick up, because that shows that you're adaptable and you can be skilled, and you know it's not the magician. I mean, it's the magician, not the wand.
It's not the wand. It's that's.
I think that's an old Tommy Brooks quote, isn't it? It's not the
Tommy Brooks. There's a Tommy Brooks on England. Which Tommy Brooks are you referring to?
Well, Welsh Tommy Brooks, Tommy Hollywood Brooks. Great scoring attempt there, like we talked about earlier. The crease dive is legal, but it's a great save from the Spanish goalie, Alejandro Ferri. And if he makes the save and the white attacker's in the crease, that's going to be a turnover. So it's kind of a do or die situation there. Either you score, sink or swim, do or die.
That was a little bit of a halfway house, if anything. It wasn't a full dive. It was always he kept his toes on the line and almost playing to the American rules.
Yeah, it was a good handle, quick catch and shot right there. Really exciting attempt. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off that time, but let's hope we see a couple more. You can hear the Hungarian coaching staff telling him that it's a great take. Keep trying. It's not a bad idea.
It literally was right there. You can't, not even 3 yards away for the shot. He's actually closer than that. But unfortunately, didn't manage to put that one away. And again, it's a standard of finishing when you get to the higher levels. Watching the USA, watching Canada with Curtis Dixon, or some of the American Rob Powell. They really are so slick around the crease. That I only got to see a part of the game, but when the Iroquois were 7-5 up, good breaks there by the Spanish attack player, number 10. Managed to stop just before getting there. That's Paul Yorker, 27-year-old attackman.
Yeah, great pressure out of the midfield there from LSM. Number 4, Jaime Del Pozo Sanz. He had almost a couple of turnovers there. Hungary couldn't come up with the ball. Unfortunately, when he tried to knock the ball away to space, went out of bounds, so Hungary will get it back off the loose ball.
Fantastic. Can you speak Spanish?
Sí, yo hablo español. Hablo español mexicano, no hablo español España, pero tengo una maestra de España.
So that'll be a yes
buena.
then. See?
Y me encanta el equipo de España, me encanta el equipo nacional.
With the Spanish pronunciation, and you say with Jaime del Pozo is
Pozo. So you got to put that that lisp on the Spanish Z, on the Z.
He prefers to go by rather than Jaime with the H, or obviously Jamie would be in English. He goes by Jimmy and Del Pozo, exactly as pronounced. It's almost like with the lisp.
Yeah, you use the lisp with the Spanish pronunciation of the C, the Z, and sometimes also the C after certain vowels.
And can you roll your R's? It's not a personal question. That's
puedo hacer mi R's. It's fun, and you do it a little bit in. You can do it in German as well. I'm learning German now that I coach in Germany. You can do it in German, and mostly I think Swiss German is more of the rolling R.
Again, there are some sounds in some of the language which we just don't have in English. And again, unfortunately, if you're out there, kids, get to school, get wise, and learn the languages.
It's pretty fun. Languages are fun. I'm having a problem. My German is starting to take over my Spanish, so I can't turn my Spanish switch on sometimes. The two second languages are competing against each other in my brain.
I thought we saw some man-on-man there, marking the man behind goal. It may be a box, and 121 was keeping an eye on number 0. That's Diego Laraz. Again, saw that one all the way. And again, the defence, well played there. They're actually tempting that shot. So it's almost like, yes, we'll open it up partially. If you get too close, the defence will clamp down on it. That time, the goalkeeper saw the shot all the way. Clean save, turnover.
Yeah, I think the Spanish are settling for some of the outside shots that Hungary actually wants them to take. So you've seen a lot of shots come from the same spot by different players, and that's part of the point of zone defense is you want to slow down the offense, slow down the scoring chances. You'll clamp down on the inside, and you'll give up some of those outside shots that you know your goalie can save. So if Hungary can continue to keep the middle controlled, they have a chance of coming back in this game.
That's I'm not sure it came off the pipe. It looked like a big save there by the goalkeeper who stepped in. That's number 22.
Did they switch goalies at halftime?
No, just trying to see now having said it. They have switched goalkeepers. That's Alvaro Cocero. My mistake. Alvaro Cocero.
Yeah, big first save from him in the second half. We saw him warming up during halftime. It's always great for a goalie to come in and get that first big save. You don't want to come in at halftime in a close game and give up your first.
And the kick save as well. He's 2 for 2. A little bit of a draw. The push penalty. Rather than scoop the ball, he actually got into position and stopped. And as soon as contact was made, which is perfectly legal to stop, the fact that the defender can't stop in time and makes contact, that's his problem, not yours.
Spanish coaches are still making their case that he took a dive there. You could hear the whole sideline erupt after he hit the ground.
Are you on the dive? Was that football simulation, or was that good tactical play?
I think he sold that one a little bit. If he continues to get those pushes, I don't know if the referees might pick it up if the same guy keeps going down.
After all that control, the solid defensive play, this time actually dodging down the hash, but he's actually dodging up the hash. Number 44, Ryan Nagy.
Yeah, he did a great job of getting upfield. The defense did not give up the top side, so he had to continue upfield away from the goal, but he got his stick upfield as well. Did a great job turning. He's a big body, so he got his hips around, turned his shoulders, and just a great shot on target. He's actually almost shooting behind him with the way he's running there.
Again, the technique, almost like a wrister. And I remember Ned Curry, the USA assistant coach, to be able to run upfield while shooting and getting enough momentum and accuracy, shooting in the opposite direction, has always been a particular high degree of difficulty of skill. Not necessarily your first shooting technique to teach to juniors, but once you actually have that in your locker, and it does take some training, it is a tremendously effective weapon.
Yeah, that was kind of an old school 90s attack style goal. For any attack, when you've got to be able to turn the corner and get the shot on target if you're dodging from X.
The old school 90s kind of thing, that's right in my wheelhouse.
I enjoy it. We're still working on some of that stuff with my team in Germany. Let's make sure we have all the tools in our toolbox.
Again, this time no one on the crease to start off with, so they start in an open set. Sometimes called circle offense, sometimes called open, sometimes called 2-2 wide. Either way, it's 6 people, none of whom on the crease. So it's easier, the shorter passes on the perimeter. And the defense are quite content to sit in. Well, saying we'll be here when you're ready. You're no threat out there. But again, it's the still 1 minute 30. They may be looking for the last shot opportunity. So being patient and then choosing to go probably in the last 10 or 15.
Yeah, I don't know if the officials are going to let them have that much time. We got some contact in the middle. Play on from referee Dave Malmquist. Spain gets the ball back, so they don't mean no call for that push in the middle. I think the defender thought the ball was coming in, but of course it wasn't. And then now we've got a crease violation. We'll turn the ball over to Hungary.
So just like a ground ball, if the ball is actually in midair, because Spain never lost possession of it, but because the ball was in midair when the contact was made, there's not a time-serving penalty. And as you rightly called, the Dave Malmquist raised his hand to recognize the play-on call.
Yeah, and that was Swiss referee Fabian Stoller over there with the crease call. He's perfectly in position to see the Spanish attacker step on the line. So it looks like a long way from us here in the box, but the referees are down there right alongside the play.
Got less than 30.
It's amazing how coaches can be 60 yards away from the crease and yet seem to have a better view
10
than...
seconds left. 10 seconds in the quarter. They get a quick shot off from the long pole.
It's a rolling clock.
So you hear the coaching staff counting down, trying to get a shot off before the end of the period.
That's all she wrote. I think it's interesting that the coach is getting the benches to echo the call. So it's not just a coach shouting. Obviously, he's going to have a busy week as it is.
8-7 here at the end of the third period. We'll take another break here on ESPN Plus, the ESPN family of networks. We'll be back for the fourth quarter between Spain and Hungary. We're playing the 24th to 28th place.
The full length from goal to goal. And they're probably in the 12 feet range. So any shots from directly in front of goal from the Spanish team, we'll be asking a difficult question of the Hungarian goalkeeper. It really is a Herculean effort. I was listening, obviously can't give too much away, but listening to the Hungarian bench and some of the players, the leaders are stepping up. They have a short bench. Spain are the more athletic and deeper team, but it's saying, look, this is the last quarter. You cannot only have one guy going for the ground ball. They're actually right the way back in this game now. It's the home team, Hungary 7, Spain 8. For all that pressure and speed and athleticism, suddenly that controlled pace, relying on the six-man zone.
Yeah, I was talking to the officials how they thought things were going. They said it's a fun game for them as well. You know, they enjoy being out here. It's going to be who has the most composure as situations unfold here in the fourth quarter. Are guys going to continue to make good decisions, or are they going to make mistakes?
This is Ryan Nagy on the ball, 44, gets it over to Ty Martin. Martin, Nagy, over to Nairadi.
Nairadi, just 16 years old. He's had a pretty quiet game, but also a reliable game today.
His dad is here supporting the team. Pablo Nairadi. The team are very appreciative of some of his support. And obviously those words just before the quarter been taken on board, looking a little bit more on their toes now, looking to press a little bit more. There's only one goal in it. It'd be interesting to see if Spain have got another gear.
Speaking of gears, we have to apologize to everybody back home. You can hear the motorcycles behind us. There's a dirt bike track here at the Wingate Institute, so we've got quite a few activities going on. There's so much room for activities here.
I'm not sure if you've had any unusual experiences on the pitches. We actually had the game delayed, so the referees blew the whistle. There was a drone on this pitch.
We had the sprinklers go on here on this one a couple nights ago, didn't we? Or was that field 5?
Not this one. I would have been on covering that. But with the drone, the referees instantly blew the whistle and got both teams to go under their respective benches and to their gazebo. Beautifully timed feed and cut. It's 76 again for Hungary. Just sitting out on that back post. Beautiful little quick stick in as Alex Buckout, the 25-year-old midfield player, but he's listed as midfield. He's been playing some great right post attackment. There it wasn't so much a quick stick as a quick wrist. He caught the ball. Obviously the goalkeeper did his hardest to get in control. That's the first one. Maybe the second one he's given up. The Spanish goalkeeper, Alvaro Cordero.
Hungary doing a great job of sticking to their game plan. Those are the same goals we saw them score in the early minutes when they came out trading punch for the Spanish team in the first quarter. If they can stick to their game plan, if they can run their plays, as we've seen them do those cross crease feeds and finish on the backside, they may be able to pull this one away from Spain. We'll see if they can stick to the game plan.
Good discipline there by Oliver Hollow, the 28-year-old, sorry, number 28. He's actually an 18-year-old defender. At the last second, the Spanish midfield player, who was adjacent, stood up and set a pick for him. And for a second, I thought he was actually going to try and clear the pick out. That would have been an easy penalty to call. Instead, he just gave him a nudge rather than try to knock him into the middle of next week. And the shot was taken on the wing by Jonas Ninau. And this time, stick side high to high from a 45-degree angle. So he'll take that all day long.
Yeah, the Spanish are going to have to be more patient against the Hungarian zone. They've taken 4 or 5, maybe more ill-advised shots from either a low angle or a little bit too far out. So they're giving John Yen some easy saves. And that's exactly what Hungary wants out of their zone defense. Give up the outside shots, give up the low angle shots, protect the middle, and shut down the inside penetration, shut down the dodges.
That makes up for that one. He's much happier with that save. Not sure it was a stick or with his knee. He won't mind either way. Kept that ball out. Big rebound. And Spain not only come up with the ground ball, but clear it. He's still under pressure. Find his teammates. And again, they get the offensive midfield players on.
Good patience from Nia now under pressure from that big Hungarian long pole, number 28, Oliver Hollow. He's headed to Harvard next year. Just finished his high school career in the U.S. Very strong, athletic player.
I mean, in some of the coaching, they like to say spider in and spider out. And I think he is not just tall, he actually long limbs as well.
Absolutely.
Covers a lot of ground, has got a wingspan with his 6-foot pole. Beautiful inside roll. He went for the dive shot. That was Daniel de la Casa, the top point scorer for Spain, looking to take that go-ahead goal. He did everything right, apart from the final point, which is kind of important, putting the ball in the goal.
We've got 2 Hungarian players slow to get up, number 91, goalie John Yen, and then you can see number 16.
I think that may be a groin injury.
Is that Portnoy? He's hobbling a little bit.
That is one of the main players for Hungary. Dylan Portnoy, an attackman, but only 17 years old, according to the program. And again, he's just the knowledge and just comfort playing around that back post and at X.
Yeah, somehow he ended up on defense there. There might have been some incidental contact with his attacker that went for the dive. I know that the attacker ended up kind of around the legs of goalie John Yen. That's the #1 criticism of the crease dive, is that's dangerous play for the goalie. But I can't say that time that the contact, you know, the angle of the dive was not going towards the goalkeeper. John Yen kind of came out, tried to make the save, and ended up on top of his attacker. So
I think what happened in that particular case, like you say, is an attack player playing some defense, and instead of going low or being used to that position and that angle of attack, if anything, he came worse off as he tried to close in and make body contact, because he was going high, the attacking player was going low. Again, with a groin injury, or could be the abductor.
Hungary very patient on the clear, letting the Spanish ride run back and forth and chase the ball.
This is Nagy, good solid bull dodge there, but kept out by the Spanish number 13.
Hey, Johnny, Nicky!
Antonio Guevara, I believe that's the first time we've called his name. Short stick midfield defender.
Not a lot of pressure from either of these two defenses, so both teams have a chance to get the ball around, get into their offensive sets.
We're approaching a 13-minute mark. They're all tied at 8. And like you say, almost, you'd think one team would want to like grasp the momentum, but they seem content just to, it's a low-risk strategy.
Hungary looking for those low dodges from X, seeing if they can find the cross-crease feed. I'm trying to figure out where the Spanish breakdown in the defense has been all day and where 3 or 4 of those goals have come from.
Again, after all that control and discipline, that's probably not the shot you're looking for. Fading away from goal, low angle. Here's the fast break. Great unselfish play by number 0 for Spain.
Yeah, I'm sure that's one that they'd want back. That was great ball movement. One more extra pass across the crease to move the goalie, but they just couldn't connect there.
Again, all the textbooks will tell you you can... That's an off-ball contact there, but no call. That was Diego Larath. Diego Larath with the cross-crease feed, and unfortunately just couldn't handle it.
After the ground ball, Hungary calls their first time out of the second half, trying to preserve the possession here in the fourth.
Be interesting to see when that costs them later on when it gets close. Again, we do have the 3 minutes, last 3 minutes of the game is stop clock in international rules.
While the officials converge in the middle of the field to make sure that they have the same score, number of timeouts, talk about anything that they need to talk about, we'll talk about Honig's. Honig's is proud to be the official provider of game day apparel for referees at the 2018 FIL World Championships. Founded in 1984, Honig's is the right call for referees, umpires, and officials across all sports in the United States and around the world. Visit Honigs.com for more information. Honig's, the right call for over 30 years.
These Honig's referee apparel, not just for referees in lacrosse, but all sports. Being modelled by the crew here today is David Malmquist from the USA. He'll be sporting the number 92 jersey. He's the head ref. Fabian Stoller, number 80 from Switzerland. And we then have Mark Buckley from number 37 from England. 92 is the head ref. He's the closest to us. Then on the CBO is Dave McRae, number 9, with his uncle Stephen McRae as the bench manager at number 10. They're patrolling the bench area. This is their domain. I always feel sorry for the CBO at international competitions because he's the closest one to the coaches, and then when you get to a tense game, almost every decision will be someone in his ear.
Yeah.
And when he's not made the call, but he's the one that's getting the, say, feedback.
Yeah, I've been listening to both of these coaching staffs, and of course, somebody gets upset. They get a little bit hectic after a call, but everybody pretty respectful here. You know, the coaches are trying to communicate information, not do a lot of yelling. You know, yelling doesn't really communicate exactly what's going on or what you'd like or what you need to know.
And again, I think both these coaches, Mike Bartlett and Brad Jones, are very much taking on the development role and teaching role. What was great to see was, and a score, there goes the go-ahead goal. He's got another one, number 76, Alex Bookout, the 25-year-old midfielder who's been playing attack for the most of the second half, stepped inside, dodged the dirt, got the improved his angle, and this time almost looked like the stick hooked a little bit.
Yeah, that looks like another assist from Ryan Nagy. He's so comfortable with that big body, holding the ball, carrying against the Spanish defensive pressure. The Hungary team is a little bit bigger, a little bit broader than the Spanish, although they don't have the speed advantage. Nagy very comfortable holding the ball. He could see through the defense to skip it up top to Bookout. So they've hooked up a couple times today, and now they put Hungary up on top 9-8. I don't think they've led since the first half when it was
8-5 at one point to Spain.
Yeah, I don't think they've led at all in this game, have they?
This is there were 2 goals up right at the very start. The first 2 goals were the backdoor sneak round the post and go cross crease. Worked perfectly twice. Then I assume Spain made an adjustment on in fact, they were playing the zone to start, and then they didn't really like the look of that, as the Hungary offense, who obviously plays zone all the time in defense, looks very comfortable against the zone. So they switched to man-on-man. That caused some problems, but it looks like Hungary very much have got a grip of this man-on-man defense.
We've got another turnover here. I'll give the ball back to Hungary. I know Spain wants that one back.
And they get it back.
Good can opener check there. Knocks the ball loose from 45, Jonas Nia now. Ball goes out of bounds. Give it to Hungary.
As we take another media timeout. And the time's very important. Here from Field, it's Trusted Choice Field here at the Wingate Arena, Wingate Institute.
Trusted Choice is the official insurance partner of the 2018 FIL World Championships. Protect what matters most, from business to home, auto, and life. Trusted Choice independent insurance agents are there for you when disaster strikes. Go to trustedchoice.com to find a local agent today.
An Epic Lacrosse, not Epoch Lacrosse, as we've had confirmed. Epic Lacrosse, the leading technological advanced lacrosse equipment, is proud to be the official head, shaft, glove, and arm protection of the 2018 FIL World Championships here in Netanya, Israel. Thank you to all the teams that trusted Epic for their gear needs. Epic Lacrosse, live, play, be. Also, the timing here is important on the media breaks. It's a 3-minute break. We have Coram watches. Since 1955, Corum's adopted creativity and boldness as its guiding principles. Coram, the official timekeeper of the World Games here in Netanya. Learn more about Coram at coram-watches.com. We also have Honig. We've mentioned the referees, but it's not just the referees. The helmets. Cascade Lacrosse is the partial sponsor of this event. It's a huge event with 46 teams, the largest, not only the largest today, it will be the largest ever as they introduce qualifying rounds for the next in 4 years' time. But Cascade Lacrosse is the #1 helmet in lacrosse and is proud to be the official helmet of the 2018 FIL World Championships. See more by following Cascade Lacrosse on Instagram. Cascade Lacrosse, a passion to protect.
Hey fans, Maverick Lacrosse is proud to be the official social responsibility partner of the 2018 FIL World Lacrosse Championships. With best-in-class design and input from the game's top players, Maverick is on a tireless mission to offer innovative, high-performance products. Nothing should get in the way of an athlete playing at their best. See more by following Maverick Lacrosse on Instagram. Maverick Lacrosse, powered by the player.
He wants to be the last one on the field.
So we're back after the media timeout here in the fourth quarter. Hungary leads 9-8 after trailing for most of the game. They led, like you said, Dave, early on after two first quarter goals, and we traded leads in the middle. Spain led at halftime and most of the second half until the go-ahead goal from Hungary after a few Spanish turnovers. I think the zone defense for Hungary is doing exactly what they wanted it to do. They wanted to slow down the attack and force the outside shots.
It does what it says on the can. They initially, Spain full of energy and looked comfortably in attack. Suddenly, it's outside shots. The goalkeeper's seeing them comfortably, or they're going off target. The whole transition game seems to have disappeared. And for a short bench, they're actually looking the more likely winner. Although, would you go with Hungary if you're a betting man? Not that I'm saying you are.
You know, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens in the remaining 8:45 here with a one-goal game. Both teams can do anything. I know Spain is still stinging from that loss to Austria a couple nights ago after they led in a similar fashion most of the game, and then Austria was able to climb back in the late stages and take a 12-10 lead. So we'll see if Spain can come up with some answers here. Play on from referee Dave Malmquist. Interference more than 5 yards from a loose ball, so Spain will get it and move it up to attack quickly. You know, this may be one of those games where the ball just doesn't bounce Spain's way. As you see there, the ball doesn't go their way. Hungary picks it up. Now we've got a loose ball.
Not sure whether that won't be called the loose ball.
Well, the loose ball was, they got the ball off the loose ball. They went to pass it. It gets knocked down. So that's an unlucky play. And then now they've got a penalty coming. A 1-minute illegal body check for the hit in the back. So now we've got two bad plays in a row. Every team, every game is trying to link up good play, good play, good play. And now you can see, like we talked about, Spain's got a couple of bad ones in a row.
Again, the goalkeepers are always said to have a short memory. You really need to. You don't want to chase a bad decision with another bad decision. Suddenly you make a mistake and the adrenaline kicks in. You feel like you have to make amends for it. And there we saw a long stick, probably a 10-yard run-up as the ball was loose, lined up his man. Unfortunately, it was from the back, so he'll be called for the 1-minute personal foul for an illegal body check.
Not a ton of creativity or complexity out of this Hungarian man-up. You know, we've had very few penalties in this game, Dave. It's been a really clean game. The referees have done a good job of managing things with possession calls, not a lot of flags thrown. But the patience, moving the ball around, forcing the defense to rotate. That's their third shot in just this 1-minute man-up penalty. None of which have been on target, which is actually better for Hungary than a save, letting Spain have the ball.
As they start the countdown for the 1-minute penalty, and as you say, we've had 3 wing shots, none of which on target. But again, I don't think Hungary will have a problem with that.
Yeah, they like to keep shooting. They're looking for their long pole. You can see number 28, Oliver Hollow. He's taken a few shots today. He's comfortable handling the ball in the offensive end. Maybe a little too comfortable. He could have thought a little bit longer about that one.
It's interesting there that he, again as a defender, just trying to use his stick to increase his angle, but he was fading behind goal as he did it, rather than you see the attack player or midfielder in that position would be trying to get across the top of the crease. So not only could he increase his angle, but actually if you get the goalkeeper moving horizontally, moving laterally, then you really give the attack player an advantage. There he just was taking the angle away from himself, and even with the long pole, good save by 21, Alvaro Cocero. I'm sure it sounds a lot different when you say it, Ryan.
Turnover in the midfield. I know Coach Mike Bartlett for Spain would love to see that ball get behind the goal where they can settle down and get into their offense. So that's another Spanish turnover here in the fourth quarter, trailing by 1. They're not into the comfortable, settled possessions and offensive play progressions that they had in the first half.
And as you said, it's the turnovers are not tremendous riding plays by the Hungarian team. It seems to be just small mental errors.
Yeah, I know Hungary doesn't want to chase the ball all over the field, so Spain, they might be making their job easy, running into double teams, getting into trouble in the middle of the field instead of carrying it down the sideline and going behind the goal where it's a little bit safer.
Yeah, they're letting them off the hook.
They are, and there's another adjacent slide down to the goal line, so if Hungary can handle that pass right there, that's another shot from a good shooting position.
Getting discipline on these contested group ground balls.
Yeah, that was a messy one. Now we've got both teams getting into a shoving match. We saw this is totally different than what we saw in the first quarter, so the heat having a little bit of an impact. Guys are getting tired, fatigue after 6 days of games. So we've got a 1-minute penalty. We'll see Spain's man up. Now we haven't seen much from them, so we were talking about, I jinxed us, Dave, what I did.
And Alex Burkout, who scored a multiple goal scorer for Hungary, will be serving the full 1 minute. This is 2-3-1, I believe. Actually, maybe even play the 2-4. Got 2 men on the crease, 2 on the wings, and 2 men up top with no one behind. But it's the responsibility of both the low man at GLE to be in position to back up the ball.
It looks like the Hungarian man-up defense is stringing with no rotation. So there's 3 guys up top. So they're playing that 2-4. It's almost like a 4-man down low against 2. But it seemed to have worked. Another Spanish turnover, and Hungary has the ball. There's no clearing count, so they got plenty of time to get the ball away.
It's a great man-up setup to have. Obviously, you're asking both of your lower attackmen to dual responsibility of being a threat and also covering the backup. But there was no movement. They really just stood in the same positions. And again, very conservative man down by Hungary. But it worked because they were daring them to shoot with the non-movement.
Now we've got another turnover. Good body defense from Spain.
Good catch that time as he gets jumped on, and the flag goes there. A little bit overindulgence.
Yeah, the stick check was good there. The long pass, you could maybe call that a hospital pass. The stick check was good, but the body check after, they're not calling it a body check, they're calling it a push.
30-second penalty.
It's Marcel Husa with number 5, the 28-year-old attackman for Hungary.
So it's 2:30 left. Spain's down by 1, and we've seen penalties on both sides on each of the last 3 possessions.
And again, they're still going from the angles. As the man up top currently is Diego Lalaz, 21-year-old, plays at Tasis next to University. Here we go.
Shot, rebound, right into the stick.
Oh, great control, body control, as he managed to rescue. Lots of time left.
Spain will get that back on the lazy clearing pass, but Hungary will kill the penalty. So Spain had a couple of good chances there. 2 minutes left. Pass inside, almost looked like it went on target. Could have gone into the goal there.
Little backdoor cut for Spain. Unfortunately, couldn't quite handle it. The feed didn't match the cut. The superb one was done by the Iroquois. The Thompson brother connected.
If you're watching right now, Spain has shifted into a 10-man ride to try and put some pressure on all the Hungary players to get this ball back.
You may as well lose by 5 as lose by 1. And it's there. There's an open net.
Goal is
and
open.
He makes a pass. Hits the pipe.
Great extra pass from number 3 on Spain. I don't have a number 3 on my roster.
Number 3 for Spain is
Castro.
That's Casuto. The Spanish Joseph, it's Josep Casuto.
1 minute left. Hungary has the ball. They're going to go into a hard stall there. He's out of bounds.
And again, that may well have been called simulation.
Yeah,
quick clear though. We're down to 59 seconds.
Spain down by 1
I'm
here.
not sure if they have a timeout left, but this would be a good time rather than wasting this time clearing all this way.
Yeah, you're right, Dave. Coach Mike Bartlett right there tracing down referee Dave Malmquist on the sideline. They'll go into a huddle here, and coach will draw something up. Let's see if they can get the equalizer. There's still tons of time left. So, you know, just in this last minute of play, either team could score a couple goals here.
And we may be in for some free lacrosse. Overtime. It's number 13 for Spain, Antonio Galvira, who cleared that ball, is suffering. He was holding his ribs. Maybe just a stitch, or it could be there was some contact, but he ran a good 60, 70 yards there.
Could just be exhaustion. These guys have given everything here, and this is day 6. But both of these teams have played. This is their 6th game in 6 days here, plus most of them had training camp before the games actually started, so they've been working hard for the weeks and months leading up. I know Coach Mike Bartlett has made a number of trips from his home in the UK down to Spain to work with his players on the ground.
Yeah, it's actually Hungary's 6th game. It's Spain's 5th game. They played New Zealand, Croatia, Austria, Denmark, whereas Hungary, Argentina, Sweden, Bermuda, Croatia, Russia.
And worth noting here that Hungary has won 3 of their last 3 games after losing the first 2. They had a tough loss against Argentina. Argentina played really well this week. And then kind of a big deficit there, losing 16-6 to Sweden. But they're on a 3-game winning streak. If they can keep it where it is right now, they'll be on a 4-game win streak here. Post pool play. What are we playing? This is the placement play-in stage.
Placement. Yep. It's, I believe, according to the head coach Mike Bartlett from Spain, he had it down as the 25th to 29th bracket. Again, they have one shared opponent. Both teams have played Croatia. Hungary won 15-3. Spain won 12-9. None of which obviously has any effect. They drew the quick shot.
Wraparound shot, not on target. Spain will get the ball back.
But didn't take much time, which I think is what they'll be looking for. You don't want to have the ball die in somebody's stick, just standing there holding it.
So they're still looking for these overloads against the Hungarian zone. Hungary still staying strong.
It's a good chance. I'm still surprised they're not shooting from directly in front of goal.
27 seconds
Maybe
left
even
here.
setting a screen.
There's a little bit of seal going on inside. They're overloading on the
And
right.
here we go from front center. And a fantastic save.
Stick side low.
This time there wasn't the bounce shot. It was in the air all the way, but it was well placed.
Nagy will carry it behind. There is no clearing count, so he can run it around in the defensive end.
And jobs are good. That would have counted. Shot from the halfway line. And there we have it, the final score. Hungary 9, Spain 8. And again, that's a brutal defeat for Spain. You said the Austria game, they were up